today in this webinar, it will be a little bit of my personal story because I'm going to talk about my personal experience of integrating our Agile platform into one of our big clients. And we will specifically be focused on the process of innovation development, but it obviously applicable to any product development process you have in organization or communication development as well. Yeah, I just move the slides. Yeah, I'm managing well, I think. So yeah, just a few words about us, who we are, because I'm not sure that everyone knows Fastuna. So we are Agile market research platform, and you can see more on our website, www.fastuna.com. What we do, we have a set of ready-to-use solutions that help our clients in more than 50 countries across the globe to get the really fast consumers feedback within 24 hours. And so to set up the scene for today's webinar, I want to give you a couple of figures from Grid Report 2023. So actually Grid Report 2023 gives us figures for 2022 compared to the previous year, which was 2021. And what I saw there is fascinating fact that is already 73% of companies and clients already started or adopted in-house market research solutions, fast, rapid consumer feedback. And if we compare these figures with 2021, the growth was just 1/3. It's like 30% growth since the last year, since 2021, which is pretty incredible. And what we see, and we see that based on the companies that approach us, it's true. Is this trend is a growing trend, and I would predict that it will be growing and growing year after year, and also with AI coming in, definitely. So, however, here I would want to highlight one challenge that all our clients have, and I think this everyone has actually, who is here, is how to navigate this seamless sea of market research platforms and how to select the right one that can be smoothly and easily adopted. So what we observe from so many clients, as I said, is that when they come to us, they already have established processes in their organizations. And I actually used to work in one of the big companies, Kimberly-Clark, in my past, and we had a very precise and rigorous process of how we would approach innovation development and testing. However, what is coming up is that how to implement fast consumer feedback and rapid consumer feedback without significantly disrupting these processes. And my personal observation here is that one of the biggest challenges is actually not just, system integration. It's not just like take the tool, adjust the tool, and start using the tool. And even not the new processes, but the biggest challenge from my point of view in this kind of marriage between established processes and new platforms is actually the mindset shift that should be happening. Because Agile process as it is, it's not that linear. It's not you coming from point A to point B. You have to kind of understand that it can be an iterative process. So you test and learn, it can be failures in between, and you can come back to the point like zero. So yeah, so that's the biggest challenge, and let's see how we addressed it. And as I said, I want to share in this webinar my personal experience with one of our biggest clients, Bayersdorf. They are a personal care company with the headquarters in Hamburg, but they are worldwide. And they approached us end of last year with this challenge that they wanted to implement more agile processes within their innovation development. However, they already had, as I said, very kind of rigorous and established routine how they would approach NPD development. But the challenge they had, we want to do it fast, and we want to do it without big disruption to our current processes. And so they took on this challenge on developing a very much consumer-focused agile screening methods, as I said, without big disruptions. It's interesting because when I asked them what would be the most important for them in this process, what they would expect from us as a supplier, and I was expecting them to say, oh, it should be fast, it should be cheap. But actually, they came up with quite a few things that was important for them when they were looking at this, like, because they were looking at the seamless, again, sea of those like suppliers, platforms. And they said, yeah, of course, it should be cost efficient, of course, and it should be fast. But what we want as well, we want someone who can cooperate with us really at the kind of partnership level, not just being a supplier, but also someone who already have experienced with establishing user-friendly processes with other clients, innovative enough, fast enough, and actually speed of implementation and speed of change was super important as well. So from very beginning, we really worked as one team on developing this framework that will work for them, and also how to implement this framework. So we started with the assessment, for instance. So we started to see where they were, where the current processes were, and not just rushing into selling them our ready-to-use toolkit. And for me as well, because I worked on both, I have experience at the client side, I have experience in the consultancy, I have experience in the agency, and I would say, again, the core is this partnership mentality. The core is being able to work together as one team while going through the process. And I will tell a little bit more about it. So I will take you through the step-by-step process that we undertook, and hopefully sharing some kind of real-life stories. And you can, by the way, you can write in the chat box if you have any experiences, the role where you are of integrating new tools and new processes within, and maybe some hurdles you had to overcome. That would be also interesting to discuss afterwards. So the first stage, which I believe probably the most important, so to assure the smooth integration, because we talk about here smooth and fast integration. So if you do your work upfront from both ends, like, I don't know if you're at the agency side or at the client side, so it's to really get together and identify those gaps, identify the current processes where you are now, where your needs are uncovered, where are the gaps. Those are some those are some questions you can ask yourself while going through this process, or the team can ask. So for instance, from my experience, like working with Beiersdorf, we realized that many of the team members were not necessarily used to swiftly receiving and actioning on consumer feedback. So they used to wait for quite a long time until they get results. They used to very long established process, and not just insights team, there were marketing teams that kind of received feedback, but the feeling was it was happening late in a day. With the DIY tools, so the platform like ours, they were not accustomed to use it themselves. and not accustomed to kind of take the results as they are, and after fast kind of sprint and conversation with the teams to get the results, to action on the results. So this idea of like rapid feedback loops was pretty strange to them. So that was one big kind of shift we identify should have been happening. And also we looked at their processes, who was involved in the processes, and we also looked at the toolkit as well. So did it have gaps? Was it just like ready to use so we can implement it as it is? So we had to kind of fill in those gaps. The next, after we've got this kind of assessment first, then we sat together again as one team and developed the framework and the roadmap. So where we're going to go, who is going to do what. And there are two things that here was crucial, is to understand, okay, what would be the process and who is responsible. What was important again is this like kind of partnership mentality, is that responsibility didn't fully lie on our client or didn't fully lie on us. That was like kind of shared responsibilities, and we set up champions for this project within us, within our, within Fastuna and within Bayersdorf, that work together as one team going through this process. And we also made sure that, because there is like quite a complex of course, internal stakeholder management process as well within Bayersdorf. And so we made sure that together that all the necessary stakeholders receive important information, are aware about what is going to happen and when. So that was really useful as well. And obviously regular catch-ups, timelines, deadlines, transparency, if we are not hitting the deadlines between us was really crucial in this stage. Okay, so then the toolkit, the platform itself. I mentioned that we were, at the very beginning, we identified we mapped out the needs of our client. Well, we mapped that together with our client, and then we kind of shared what we have as a standard toolkit. And that was very quickly clear that our toolkit was great as it is for use for maybe some later stages of idea and concept development. There were certain gaps that Bayersdorf wanted to fill in, and they were not there. And so for us as a platform supplier, we also were kind of very open and flexible to develop those solutions that were missing together with our client, because they also helped us as a platform to grow and to develop and to fill in those gaps. And so in terms of like what we did, the challenge that we took on was that they said, why we really want to get some sort of like screening at already need state stage and the insight stage. How do we know where is the biggest potential behind which, unmet need? Can you do this for us? And we accepted the challenge, and we developed a quick screening tool where now anyone actually can test many insights as they go. And we have companies coming to us actually during the workshop and testing the insights with the toolkit, which is, really great. And then we did some screening tool as well, which was really, really useful. So as I said, and here you can see, so what they had before. So they had the kind of qual exploration, then they did ideation, and they might do some qual afterwards as well in between, but then they went to the concept validation. And what we did, and it's actually funny because here's, you can see in the bottom, you can see after is a linear process, but it's actually not linear because, as I said, we created those in between steps that can be used again and again. So if any insights, none of the insights resonate, can they go back to the in-depth exploration? Then they can, and then they can retest it. So, and it's great, and I will be talking about it in the next stage of the optimization. We're already looking at the filling in even more gaps and how we can get semi-quality insights, how we can incorporate AI, and so on and so on. So this is a fascinating journey together. So here probably I will think one thing, because I see the time, and I think I need to kind of wrap up soon. But I want to say that it's not just you have the tool. Implementation is not just you have the tool and you do the training and that's it. So it is actually, as I said, quite a lot of kind of hand-holding, and it's a process. You go together and you make sure that everyone is on board, that the processes are there, the guidelines are there, the templates are there, the transparency there, so everyone knows in organization what's happening. And I feel this is quite a big job at the kind of client end. So Beiersdorf did quite a big job themselves within their company to really implement and integrate and inform and educate their internal customers and stakeholders. And how supply can help here is obviously working together, helping with the guidelines, trainings, templates, helping promoting the product internally, educating teams, and again, having the champion within the, within the company, within the supply, within the client really helps. And yeah, so I want to say, I think that we did everything from stages from 1 to 4 within, I would say, 2-3 months time. So including that toolkit development. So it was really, really fast. And at the moment we see how, as I said, how we can already adjust the tool, how we make it more accessible for even more people within organization, and so we are now taking next steps in the process, and we already have pipeline, let's say late 2023, beginning 2024, what will be done within both processes and also the toolkit as well. And here, this is I was talking about mindset shift. Allow mistakes to exist. This is an exact comment from our client, because they say this is the biggest thing that happened, is that they understood that the process is so fast and it can be done really early on. So the price for mistake is not that high, because team is still in the very earliest stage of development. So mistakes happens, and they should happen, and it's okay for them to happen. So this is what that was the biggest shift, what is happening right now. And also they kind of accommodate this iterative approach within organization. And you can see in the bottom I highlighted something that some things that are crucial for the process, and they're all about linked back to this partnership mentality, that I talked at the beginning. So transparency, mutual respect, how they open to change, and supplier, how we open to change. Can we be flexible? Are we open to change? Are we open to see, really understand what our client needs? Shared responsibility, as I said, really important. And of course, speed. Yeah. So I think that's more or less it. I just want to do some kind of wrapping up thoughts and notes. This is the quote, which I really love. It's probably long, but I love it because Anna really identified where Fastuna sits in this seamless sea of DIY platform, really acknowledging us as a platform with human interface that helping our clients at the very kind of high level, senior level, in terms of like, you know, the ability to go through this rigorous process of implementation, not just do the ad hoc projects that probably everyone can do. And yeah, and our flexibility, but I would say that, again, this is like kind of echoing what I was just saying about partnership mentality and helping them out in developing their in-house capabilities, in-house testing capabilities. So three things, because, you know, three things what I want to highlight as key takeaways here is that, first of all, just keep in mind that this is a growing demand for seamless feedback, and it will happen more and more that more and more companies will accommodate those like in-house, you know, will building up their in-house capability and implement those quick, rapid testing and learning. In terms of like how to select the best supplier, I would say that platform is important, but beyond that, the holistic approach of choosing the supplier is very important, because then so it's not just the toolkit, it's also if they able to deliver the framework, if they able to have the human resources that support, you know, you at any level, you know, it can be kind of technical support, it can be customer support, but also at the higher level, and be able together with you to help you to implement the toolkit and implement this kind of rapid learning feedback into your processes. And again, I already said, like maybe multiple times, is about this partnership mentality. So working as one team. So to really be able to run the integration smoothly and really fast, working as one team is essential. And for me, is like probably the kind of the key for success, and that everyone is like understand each other's needs and like work together and partnering together. I think that's it from my end, and I think we have 5 minutes to take some questions. I just want to say that if you scan this QR code on the upper left, then it will take you to the landing page where you can subscribe to the free consultations with me or one of my experts, and we can talk about, you know, the kind of what's happening in your organization right now, what are your testing processes, how they could be optimized.